Hello everyone, Miss Liberty here, and today we're going to learn how to summarize a text. Now, summarizing a text means we're going to read a story, we're going to find the main ideas from the story, and then we're going to write a short paragraph so someone else could understand the main ideas of the story, perhaps if we wanted to explain the story to a friend or family member. First of all, before we write a summary, of course, we have to read a text or a story. So when we're reading, there's a few things that we need to make sure that we do. Now, those are things like reading slowly, paying attention to what we're reading. We can circle important words so we can come back to them and know what the text is talking about. And we can also ask ourselves questions. Things like, what's the story about? What's going to happen next? They can help us understand the story and have a better idea of what we need to summarize once we've finished reading. Throughout today's lesson, we're going to be using a practice text. So this is just a short story that I'm going to be using to show you what we need to pay attention to when we're reading and how we can find those important bits of information. Today we're going to be using the story called Shoveling Snow. So I'll read it to you now, and then we're going to be using it for the rest of the lesson to just see what we can take from a text and how we can use it. I want a new toy. Mum says toys cost money. How can I get money? I look outside. There is a lot of snow. Mum says I can earn money if I shovel our driveway. I do. It is fun. I do not have enough money for my new toy. I look around. Mrs. Jen has a shovel. Can I shovel her driveway? She says yes. I almost have enough money for my new toy. Mr. Tom has a shovel. Can I shovel his driveway? He says yes. I can get my new toy. Now, once you've finished reading your text comes a very important part. So this is when we start to think about the questions. We start to think about the text that we've read, and we're trying to understand how we can summarize this text. So basically, we want to write another, it's almost like the same story, but just much, much shorter. We only have 2 or 3 sentences to write the story. So one thing that's important for us to know is who are the characters in the story. So it could be a person like mum, dad, brother, sister, auntie, policeman, fireman, doctor. It could be a person such as those, or it could be an animal. Sometimes in stories you have animals that are also the characters. In the text we're working on today, though, we have 4 characters. The main character is the child, the person who's shoveling all the snow, clearing the driveways. There is Mum, there is Mrs. Jen, and Mr. Tom. So those are the characters that we're going to remember when we need to write our summary later, because those are some of the key points in the story. Step 2. This is the what. So what are the main points of the story? What parts of the story stand out to you? So this is what makes the story unique. What makes the story the story? So I've picked out a few points. You could use others as well, but I've chosen shoveling driveways. There's snow, and the little boy or girl wants to earn some money to buy a new toy. So those are all important bits of information that we need to make sure we include in our summary. Step 3, that is our when. So we need to know, when does the story take place? So this could be lots of different things. So this could mean in history. Is it Stone Age? Are there cavemen and dinosaurs? Or is it more modern? Is it today? We need to know the season. So a story that takes place in summer and a story that takes place in winter will normally be very different. Also the time of day. We need to know if it's at night, are they supposed to be sleeping? Are they going to school? We need to know what's happening in the background of the story. So for the story we're looking at today, for shoveling snow, we can see that there's snow in the story, which means it must be winter. And he's outside, a little boy or girl is outside shoveling snow, so it must be during the day. So those are also important bits of information that we can keep in mind when we are writing our summary. Step 4. Now this is where. So where does the story take place? So it takes place, it could be the country, could be the city, the countryside. Is it at school, at home? Is it at a friend's house? Are they in the woods? So this is the scenery. It's where are the people? So in this story we can say they're in a town because the little boy, he's in his house, and there's also people around him who are in their homes, so it must be in a town. And he's outside people's houses. We could also say it's somewhere where there's snow in the winter. There's not much snow around here in the winter, so maybe it could be somewhere like Canada or America, or somewhere a little bit colder like Norway or Sweden. Okay, step 5. Now this is the last question we have to ask ourselves, and this is the why. So it explains the reason something is happening. So it could explain why somebody is sad. It could explain why somebody is lost, why somebody is not having a good day, why someone's very, very happy. It could be why someone is traveling to the other side of the world. It's explaining the reasons something's happening in the story. So it's really understanding what's happening in your story. So it could be something like he lost his toy. They were late for school. Maybe people are running down the road and they're late for school. It was snowing, so that could be why did they not go to school that day? Because it was snowing so much they couldn't leave their homes. So that's the why. So in this story, one thing we have to wonder is why is this little boy or girl outside shoveling snow? And the why is to earn money to buy a new toy. Step 6. This is where we're going to be writing our summary. So we need to be using the questions that we've just looked at and the information from those to write our summary. So we only need to write about 2 or 3 sentences, but we need to make sure they include all the important information. So the summary for this text that we're looking at now, the shoveling snow, would be something like, a child wants to buy a new toy, but they don't have any money. Their mum tells them they can earn money by shoveling the snow off driveways. At the end of the story, the child has enough money to buy a new toy. Now I'm going to give you a turn to find the important information in the text. So I am going to read the text for you, and you can read along with me. And afterwards, you will have a worksheet and you will have to answer the 5 questions we've been looking at. And then you'll have to write a summary for this text. So I'm going to read the text for you now, and then we can continue on with the worksheet after. So, Dave and Grant love kayaking. Dave and his friend Grant love to go kayaking in the summer. They each have their own kayak. Dave's kayak is yellow and Grant's kayak is red. Whenever it is not raining, they kayak on the small lake in town. They look for fish, turtles, and muskrats. When they are kayaking, they also like to see ducks and loons. Sometimes they bring fishing poles with them so they can try to catch fish. Sometimes they just paddle around. They have the most fun when they race each other in their kayaks. They always pack a lunch. They have a favorite spot on the lake to stop and eat their sandwiches. After lunch, they paddle around the lake some more. Then they stop again to have some cookies. Even if they can't spend a full day kayaking, they will go out for at least an hour each day. They really love kayaking. Now it's your turn. So, with the text that we have just looked at and read together, I am going to ask you to fill in this worksheet that you can see on your screen here. So I would have sent you a copy that you can print off. So I want you to answer all of the questions. So who are the characters? What is happening in the story? When is the story taking place? So remember, that can be season, day of the week, anything like that. Where is the story taking place? And why are they doing something? Why is something in the story happening? Once you've answered all those questions, you then can write 2 or 3 sentences to summarize the story. Okay, everyone, that is the end of this video for today. So I hope you succeed writing your summary, and I look forward to seeing them all very soon. Okay, have a nice day, everyone.